So we're going to talk about SIJ pain today. If you've ever experienced SIJ pain, it's more than common to, experience this through your lower back, either on the left or the right side, more central than, say, the outside parts of your lower back. You can get this quite commonly from training in the gym or from being quite sedentary as well. What Tom, Josh and I are going to talk to you all about today and give you demonstrations of is how we can treat this at home and a few little exercises and stretches to stop your back from feeling so jacked up.
I'll talk a little bit about what SIJ is and why we may have pain there. So I'm just going to use the model here of the pelvis. Our SIJ is a joint here between the pelvis and the tailbone here. There is a small range of motion that is available to us. Although it is small, we still need available ranges to move in and out of. Sometimes we may get pain there because we run out of range of motion.
So like Josh was just saying, we have a very small amount of range of motion available at the SIJ and the pelvis. But that small range of motion we do have is important to be able to train. The easiest way to train that is going to be leveraging certain muscles we have around our leg and our hips. And we do have a couple of exercises that we're going to be going through soon about that. But the main exercises or the main muscle groups that we're going to be using for those exercises are revolving a lot around our hamstrings, glutes, quads and erectors. And those muscles there can make that pelvis move like it can open and close in those very small degrees of range of motion. And they're typically going to be trained by taking us into deeper positions of hip flexion or deeper positions of hip extension. So depending on your symptoms and what you feel makes it feel good or bad, you want to pick one or more of these exercises and lean into the ones that make it feel better as opposed to the ones that make it feel worse.
For the next few steps, we'll be looking at the exercises that Tom, Josh and I have taken time to put together for you all to try at home to manage your SIJ pain. So the first two exercises that we're going to demonstrate for you are the two stretches that we really think will work quite well. Stretch number one being a figure 4 stretch, and then stretch number 2 being some knee rocking. Both of these are quite gentle and easy to use with no equipment needed. The next few exercises are going to be ranging from easy to medium to hard, and they are going to be our hamstring bridge with a block squeeze, our Spanish squats with some dumbbells or some weights of your choosing, and then the last one being a Hatfield with heels elevated and a band around the knees.
This is the figure 4 stretch. What we're trying to do here is create a stretch in the glute and create a bit of space to go into hip flexion here. So here I'm trying to push my knee down as I pull my ankle up and I lean in lumbar extension into my hip.
Here we have some knee rocking. So what you want to do for this exercise here is hug behind the knees and gently rock backwards and forwards. You should feel some stretching through your lumbar as we take it through flexion.
Here we have the hamstring bridge. We're going to be trying to focus on getting as much hip extension as we can. So you can see here, I'm trying to tuck my hips into a little bit more of a neutral position, and I have a yoga block that I'm squeezing between my adductors. I'm going to be trying to squeeze that yoga block as hard as I can to squeeze my adductors, hamstrings and glutes to thrust up.
The next exercise we have is a Spanish squat. The setup for this one here includes getting a band and placing it at the top of the calf, just a little bit below where your knee would actually bend. The next step, we're going to grab a little dumbbell or a weight so that way we can have something to counterbalance ourselves as we squat down. For when we are squatting, we want to make sure that the weight is forward in our foot, making sure that we are able to essentially get full squat depth, trying to keep that chest as upright as possible and getting a little bit of rounding in the lumbar.
Here we have a banded SSB squat or safety bar squat. If you don't have a safety bar, you can also use something like a dumbbell or even a Zercher position. But this exercise is going to help us integrate back into some loaded squatting patterns. So as you can see here, I have a band around my knees that I'm using to create a little bit more external rotation and knees forward as I drop, and the heel elevation is also helping me do this. By keeping a little bit more external rotation as I squat, I should have more space in my hips to drop straight down into a squat pattern.